Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the BFA class review series. My name is Mr. Couchy, and I will lay out for you some of the changes affecting Destruction Warlock heading into battle for Azeroth. Although we are close to the end of beta and into the pre-patch, some of this is still subject to change, so don't take everything said here as law. Destruction Warlocks were the steady spec, never too strong, never too weak, and got the job done in any scenario and never held you back. Centered around a standard builder-spender rotation of applying Immolate and Conflagrate, and spending your Chaos nukes, there was never anything that made them exceptional outside of their utility, of course. With this stagnation, how did Blizz spice things up? Let's start by going over the Warlock general spec changes, as quite a few are being tweaked across the class. Create Healthstone, Soulwell, Gateway, Enslaved Demon, Fear, and Ritual of Summoning all had mana reduced or cast times changed. Soulstone Battle Reses players with 60% health and 20% mana. Your Summon Infernal is now baseline. It summons an Infernal from the Twisting Nether, impacting for fire damage and stunning all enemies in the area for 2 seconds. The Infernal will serve you for 30 seconds, dealing damage to all nearby enemies every 2, and generating 1 Soul Shard Fragment every half second. Shadow Fury is now baseline. It stuns all enemies within 8 yards for 3 seconds. The range has been changed from 30 yards to 35, and the cooldown changed from 30 seconds to a minute. Backdraft. Conflagrate reduces the cast time of your next Incinerate or Chaos Bolt by 30% and is now baseline. Drain Life drains the life from the target, causing shadow damage over 5 seconds and healing you for 500% of the damage done. Havoc, which is also now baseline, marks a target with Havoc for 10 seconds, causing your single target spells to also strike the Havoc victim for 75% of normal initial damage. The cooldown has been changed from 45 seconds to 30. A bunch of the changes continue into your talents. Empowered Life Tap, Backdraft, Grimoire of Synergy, Hellfire, Wreak Havoc, Shadow Fury, and Soul Harvest have all been removed. In their places you get a new version of Hellfire, which engulfs the surrounding area in Hellfire, causing fire damage to yourself and fire damage to all enemies every 1 second. You may move while channeling Hellfire, and it costs 4 Soul Shard Fragments every second. I always wanted this talent to be good. I like the idea of the Kiss Curse stuff, like Paladin's Light of the Martyr. Flashover, Conflagrate deals 25% increased damage and grants an additional charge of Backdraft. Inferno, Rain of Fire damage has a 20% chance to generate a Soul Shard Fragment. Internal Combustion, Chaos Bolt consumes up to 5 seconds of Immolate's damage over time effect on your target, instantly dealing that much damage. Soulfire burns the enemy's soul, dealing fire damage, and the cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds for every Soul Shard Fragment you spend, and it generates 4 Soul Shard Fragments. Dark Soul Instability, you infuse your soul with unstable power, increasing your crit strike by 30% for 20 seconds. Dark Fury reduces the cooldown of Shadow Fury by 15 seconds. Demonic Circle has been changed, where you summon a circle for 15 minutes, and you cast Demonic Circle Teleport to teleport to its location. That removes all movement slowing effects. Dark Pact, you sacrifice 20% of your current health to shield you for 250% of the sacrificed health for 20 seconds. Demon Skin, your Soul Leech absorption now passively recharges at a rate of 0.5% per max health every second, and now absorbs up to 15% of maximum health. Soul Conduit is every soul shard you spend has a 15% chance to be refunded. Eradication, Chaos Bolt increases the damage you deal to the target by 10% for 7 seconds. Roaring Blaze, Conflagrate burns the target for an additional fire damage over 6 seconds. Shadowburn, you blast the target for spell damage. If the target dies within 5 seconds and yields experience or honor, Shadowburn's cooldown is reset. This generates 3 Soul Shard Fragments, and the cost has been halved and gains 2 charges. Fire and Brimstone, Incinerate now also hits all enemies near your target for 40% damage, and generates 1 Soul Shard Fragment for each additional enemy hit. Grimoire of Sacrifice sacrifices your demon pet for power, causing your spells to sometimes also deal additional shadow damage. Reverse Entropy, your spells have a chance to grant you 15% haste for 8 seconds. And finally, Grimoire of Supremacy. While you have an Infernal active, every soul shard you spend increases the damage of your Chaos Bolt by 8 seconds. Overall, Destruction plays pretty much the same as it does on live, and got some much needed quality of life improvements. On top of that, the new visuals are amazing. The loss of the portals from the artifact weapon is a tad upsetting, as they looked cool and added a nice little damage CD. Destruction will still be the mage spec of the class and still do wonders on 2-target cleave, especially with the reduction of Havoc. Good feeling spec with tons of utility is always a good thing. How did you think Destruction felt in Legion, and how do you think it will perform in BFA? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Thanks for sticking around, like and subscribe, and in case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.